Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a live recording of a 50-minute full body flow kind of flexibility practice. So I do use my strap a little bit today. Find some space to move and let's get started. And maybe in butterfly. So if you want to bring the soles of your feet together, your knees out wide. You can sit however you want to sit if you don't want to be in butterfly. But you might also take the hands, just press your fingertips into the ground behind you, lengthening through the spine. You can let your eyes close at any time. And then you might stay sitting tall, or you might take a little tip forwards, or maybe even a little bit of a sway with the upper body, side to side. Just starting to slow down. And maybe taking a nice deep breath in and out. Just take a moment to scan your body. How are you feeling today? And if you're in butterfly, you can start to sit back up if you're folding forwards. We'll take our left leg and just send it out wide for a half straddle. The right leg can stay bent. You might point your toes up. Same thing though, maybe lengthening through the spine. Press the fingertips into the ground. Kind of lift your chest off your low back. You could tip forwards. You could sway here too. Maybe looking down, maybe closing your eyes. And perhaps taking another slow, deep breath in and deep breath out. And if you're folding forwards or in that half straddle, we're just gonna switch sides. Bring the left leg in, send the right leg out. Maybe point those toes up. Press the hands into the ground, lengthen the spine. And maybe one more tip forwards, maybe a couple more sways of the upper body. Feeling some love through the inner leg, maybe. But mostly noticing your breath. Relaxing through your forehead. And maybe another deep breath in and deep breath out. And if you're folding forward, you can start to lift again. And we'll bring our legs together. So maybe lean back a little, bring your legs together in front of you. And then you can squeeze the knees, maybe take a rock or sway side to side. Then we're going to come over and onto our knees. We get into our feet a little bit, but you might start with a sway of the hip side to side. And then we'll cross or rest the left foot on the right foot. So the top of the left foot into the arch of the right foot. You can stay on your hands or you can sit back towards the heels. You can keep some weight in the hands still or sit all the way back. Maybe rest your hands in your lap I feel a little bit of a massage in the arch of that right foot, the bottom foot. Can you take a breath here? Relax your face. Sometimes this doesn't feel like a lot, and sometimes it feels like a whole lot. Just one more breath on this side, though. You can bring your hands back down, uncross the feet, maybe a shake of the ankles, maybe a wiggle of the toes, but then switch sides. Maybe that left foot's on the bottom now, right foot. Rest it in the arch of that left one. Slowly sitting back. This side might feel a whole lot different than the other side too. Maybe coming to a place where you're resting your hands in your lap. Breathe. Bring some space between the teeth. Unclench the jaw. Just one more breath here. And then bringing your hands down, coming off of the feet again. Maybe a gentle shake of the ankles. Then we're going to bring our knees wide, big toes together. So resting on the tops of the feet like child's pose. We're going to try to send the hips back towards the heels. You can lean forwards and press into the hands, or again, you can sit back all the way on the heels and maybe resting your hands in your lap or on your legs. Just a moment here. You do have your hands lifted off the ground. We're going to bring them back down, and then we're going to bring our knees together. So still resting on the tops of the feet, but maybe the knees are nice and close together. And one more time, sit back towards the heels if you'd like, or as always, keep some weight in the hands. You're sitting back on your heels though. Can you lengthen through the spine? And just take a breath. If you have your hands lifted, bring them back to the ground again. Come off of your heels. Bring the knees about hip width apart. Set up your tabletop. Maybe swaying the hips side to side a couple times, but we can tuck our toes. And then take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, lift up all the way into your downward facing dog. And from here, maybe pedaling the feet a few times, pressing into the hand. A nice deep breath in, a nice deep breath out. Let go of your day, let go of your week. With the next inhale you take, start to look forwards. As you exhale, walk your feet all the way to the top of your mat. And once you get there, we're going to inhale for a half lift. So going for a really long spine. And as you exhale, fold forwards. Bend the knees, let your upper body hang heavy, your arms dangle down. Now, if we can roll up one vertebrae at a time to standing, roll up like a rag doll. Take an inhale, let your arms dangle. Maybe your chin can stay tucked towards your collarbone until you come all the way up to standing. Once you are up, lift the chin, roll the shoulders back. Take an inhale to reach your arms up. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift your chest to lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold again, bend your knees. Let your upper body hang heavy, your arms dangle. A little tuck of the chin towards the collarbone. Now we're going to roll up again. Take your time. Can you let your arms be so heavy, dangling the whole way up to standing? Press into the feet a little. Move slow. Can you leave your chin tucked towards your collarbone too until you're standing taller? And let the shoulders roll back. Let the chin lift. And take an inhale to reach up. Exhale to fold. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale to lengthen the spine in your half lift. Exhale, fold forwards, bend those knees, hang heavy through the upper body. Tuck the chin, let the arms dangle. Use an inhale to slowly roll up. Last ragdoll. Slow, slow, slow. One vertebrae at a time. Once you do reach the top, though, lift the chin, roll the shoulders back. This time, spread your fingers wider. Take a big inhale to reach up. As you exhale, fold forwards. Inhale into a half lift. As you exhale, we're going to fold and plant our hands. Step back into downward facing dog. Pressing the ground away. Take a nice big inhale and exhale. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, lower your knees down to the mat. Find your tabletop, maybe a sway through the hips. Now we are going to move into our arms a little bit. So if you do have something to make your arms longer, you can add that in. Maybe it's a strap, but we're going to be seated and you've got options. You can sit cross-legged, legs in front of you, legs underneath you. You can sit in perhaps a lovely toe squat. Okay, so I'm going to go for the toe squat. Feel free to join me. And if you do have a strap to use today, you can hold it in your right hand, reach it up, bring it behind you, and then grab onto it with your left hand too. If you don't have a strap to use, that left hand might just hold that right elbow instead. But you're holding a strap behind you. Walk your hands closer together, snug things up a little, feeling our shoulders, our arms, and of course the feet, maybe if you are joining me in a toe squat. I want you to find that same ease that we've been trying to find in everything we've done so far. The breath, a soft forehead, a soft jaw. And you're going to take just one more breath on this side. And then you can release your arms down. You can set your strap to the side for a moment. We are going to take just a moment, a break, you might say, before we switch sides, just in case you're in the toe squat. Or maybe you want to change how you're seated. If you're cross-legged, you might cross your legs the other way. Maybe you don't want to come back into the toe squat. You want to sit on the tops of the feet. Doesn't matter. But it was a short and sweet break. Find your seated position where your arms are free and available. And maybe that left hand's reaching up this time, strap coming behind you. Reach for it with that right hand too. Walk the hands closer together, or again, maybe just use the right hand to hold that left elbow. You don't have to use a strap. Maybe your hands hold one another. Take a few breaths to settle in. Feel the love through the arms and anywhere else you're lucky enough to feel. And we're going to take just one more breath on this side. And then you can unwind the arms. You can place your strap off to the side. You can find tabletop. And maybe taking a moment to tap the toes against the ground or shake the ankles out a little bit. But when you're ready to find downward facing dog, you can lift your knees, press into the hands. Maybe float the toes for a moment. If you were in that toe squat, might feel good to take all of the pressure out of the toes. Maybe you're still able to pedal the feet a little bit. But let's use an inhale to look forwards. And as you exhale, walk to the top of your mat. When you get there, take an inhale for a half lift. As you exhale, fold forwards. Use an inhale to come all the way up to standing. Exhale, lower your arms to your sides. Now we're going to stay standing. You can widen the feet, maybe hip width, maybe even a little bit wider than that. But our left hand is going to rest on the hip. Our right arm is going to reach out, up, and then maybe over towards that left side. So with the left hand on the hip, kind of push the hips a little bit to the right and let the right hand reach over towards the left. And then just notice your feet. Let's push into them. You might float your toes. You might squeeze your belly button in. And then use an inhale to lift. You can release your arms to your sides. You can let the toes come down if you had them lifted too. Maybe a shoulder roll. But then our right hand's going to find the hip. And the left arm's going to reach out, up, and over. So a little press into that right hip. A little reach over to that right side. Maybe floating the toes, pressing into the feet, but mostly feeling that side stretch. And then use a nice inhale to come all the way back up. Let your arms fall to your sides. Maybe roll the shoulders back. If you did widen the feet, you could bring them back in a little closer, all the way together. But let's take an inhale to reach our arms up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale as you lift halfway up. And exhale, fold down. Plant your hands, take your feet back and into your downward facing dog, pressing the ground away. We're going to walk our feet together. Now we're going to be lifting our heels, bending our knees, and trying to bring our knees all the way down slowly to the ground. So we're not going to stay in the toe squat. Don't worry if once your knees come down and you're in that toe squat, that's okay. You can untuck your toes, rest on the tops of the feet again. Maybe your knees are closer together. But if you can sit back on the heels, and maybe even take a lean back and see if the knees want to float. Feel the ankles. You can have your hands on the ground behind you. Maybe the hands are resting on your lap. But then slowly let the knees come down or start to bring the hands down. So you're back in your tabletop. You can bring some space between the knees again. Maybe a sway of the hips, maybe a little shake of the ankles. And then we're going to bring our right foot forwards, setting up a lunge, but a shorter stance between that knee and that front foot. But we are bringing our hands down, shifting that knee past the big toe, maybe trying to stretch our ankle. So lifting the heel up, shifting the weight forwards maybe until that heel does lift, and then try to drop it down, but hopefully it doesn't touch. And if you're lucky, you'll feel your left hip flexor here too. If you're not, you might tuck those toes and move your knee back ever so slightly to feel that hip flexor. Let's take just another breath here. Just going to be kind of shifting the weight back. Move the hips back. Maybe walk the hands towards your foot. I'm going to try to bring that right knee back into our tabletop as gracefully as we can. Maybe shake it out a little bit. But that left foot can make its way forwards when you're ready. Maybe starting with a shorter stance between the foot and that back knee. As you lean down, maybe send that knee past the toes, lift the heels. You can let your chest be as heavy as it wants to be on your knee. Can you find that right hip flexor too? Maybe, maybe not. But think about dropping that left heel towards the ground. Stretch the ankle. Maybe the calf, maybe the whole leg is getting some love. Nice work, you guys. Take just another breath. And then you can slowly start to shift back. Finding your tabletop again as gracefully as you're able to do so. Maybe a sway of the hips, maybe a little shake of the ankles. And we are going to sit down so we can bring our legs out in front of us. We're going to make a diamond shape with our legs, but it's going to be a really big diamond. So as far away as you can bring your feet, but maybe keeping the soles of your feet together. Lengthening through the spine. Your hands could be on the ground behind you. Push into the fingers. Take some weight off the low back. Or maybe you will be folding forwards. Maybe you'll even add a gentle sway of the upper body. Just notice what you feel throughout your legs here, your hips. If you are folding forwards, I'm going to slowly lift again. Bring the knees back together. You can walk the feet closer if you'd like. Just give your knees a little hug or a squeeze. Maybe a rock side to side. And then our right leg's going to go long. Our left foot will come to the inner thigh. If you have a strap to use today, you might want to add it to your foot. So two options here, or a few options. You can stay seated nice and tall, keeping that right leg on the ground. You can fold forwards, enjoy the stretch through the leg. You might also want to move the right leg a little bit instead of keeping it on the ground. So if you want to come back and sit tall, we're going to bend the right knee a little bit. So maybe we're just resting on the heel. We might slide the left leg under the right leg just a little bit more so that you feel centered, you feel solid. And then you can hold your strap either with both hands or maybe the right hand can hold both sides of that strap. So our left hand can be behind us to push into the fingertips and keep that spine long. So if the right foot wants to float or that heel wants to float, you can let it float. Push the foot into the strap. The leg can stay bent. The leg can straighten. Maybe you feel like you don't need that left hand behind you, so it wants to lift. Maybe you just want to try holding the strap with the left hand and taking the right hand behind you. Focus on a nice long spine, lifting the chest off the low back, and maybe a little bit of play with that right leg. The knee might be bent, the leg might straighten, but your spine is going to be long and strong the whole time. If you do have the foot lifted, bend the leg and gently place the heel down. You can turn, or if you're not facing forwards, bring both hands to your strap again and just send that leg long. If your foot, your left one's underneath your leg, move it back to your inner thigh. Lengthen the spine again, and then fold forwards if you. Now we still got our strap here to maybe hold on to with just the right hand. You can be sitting tall or you can be folding forwards, but our right leg is on the ground. So you could hold that strap with the right hand and the left hand might move, maybe behind you or to your left knee or just somewhere to that left side. A little bit easier to touch that left hand to the ground if you are sitting tall. So maybe you're tipping forwards and that hand is floating. Now you can turn back to face your leg. You could grab the strap with the left hand. At any time, you need to re-lengthen, long and strong through the spine. Sit tall again. Maybe the right hand can come beside you, behind you. Maybe you're tipping forwards. Maybe that right hand is floating, reaching past you. Maybe you're pushing those fingers into the ground behind you. And then just coming back to center. Arms, chest, everything. You're still folding forwards. Take another breath. And then use an inhale to lift on up. And you can take your strap off of your foot. Or shake it out a little bit before we switch sides. Maybe a hug of the knees, maybe legs long. Just let your low back decide kind of where you're going for this next side. Left leg's going to go long. Right foot's going to start on the inner thigh. We want to be long and strong through our spine, lifting the chest off of the low back almost the entire time. So you might add your strap to your foot. Sit tall. Leave that left leg on the ground. You could be folding forwards the entire time. Then I'm moving around a little bit. You do want to see what happens as you bend that left knee and rest the heel on the ground. Maybe scoot your right leg under your leg a little bit more. Hold your strap and then just sit tall as best you can. So we might start by holding the strap with just the right hand, or the left hand, sorry. And the right hand, press those fingertips into the ground. You can keep the chest facing forwards. The heel might not want to lift, but it might. Knee bends, maybe a little length, a little press into the ground, maybe a little press into the strap. If you want to change hands or hold on with both, but maybe that right hand will hold your strap and the left hand will come to the ground. Press into it. Get lighter through the low back with a squeeze of the glutes, a press of the glutes into the ground and the fingertips. Maybe the foot is lifting and lowering a couple times. Maybe you're holding your strap with both of your hands. If you do have that heel lifted, bend the knee gentle as you bring it down. Then we'll send that leg long. So bring your right foot back to your inner thigh, reset, re-lengthen through the spine. You might stay seated tall. You might fold a little bit. And maybe the left hand will hold your strap and the right hand will move somewhere off to that right side, maybe behind you, maybe pressing into the fingertips a little bit. And maybe switching sides, holding the strap with the right hand. Maybe reset, re-lengthen the spine, and let the left hand move somewhere to that left side or behind you. Slowly making your way back through center. Maybe holding the strap with both hands, maybe folding forwards for just a moment longer. And then lifting up if you're folding and taking your strap off of your foot. Move it to the side. Bring your legs together again. Give them a hug or a squeeze, maybe a rock side to side. And just sitting cross-legged. Maybe your right leg can be in front because we're going to switch sides in a moment. But cross-legged seat, if that's comfortable, hands to the knees, lengthen your spine. Taking a twist, a turn of the chest towards the right side. Stay sitting tall. If your left hand wants to hold that right knee, push those right fingertips into the ground. Take a twist. Maybe a little peek towards that right shoulder. And then use an inhale to come back so you're facing forwards. Cross your legs the other way. Maybe that left leg can be in front now. Lengthen your spine and slowly turn the chest towards the left. Maybe the right hand finds the knee, maybe not. Push the left fingertips into the ground. Make your spine as long and strong as it can be. And let an inhale bring you back. Facing forwards again. You can uncross your legs though. Another hug of the knees or rock side to side. We are going to lay down on our backs. Once you are there, you can keep your feet on the ground or hug your knees to your chest. Maybe a sway side to side, massage your back against the ground. If you have your feet lifted, you can bring them down. You have an option to rest your arms maybe out wide or bringing your hands behind your head as a little pillow. We're going to move our legs though. So you can widen the feet a little bit, widen the knee. Start to sway those knees side to side. And then tip your knees over to the left. Keep the feet wide, the knees wide. Maybe the hands behind the head. You want a little extra here. That left foot might move to rest on top of the right leg. Little extra weight. Maybe a little more feeling through that right leg. If you have that left foot resting on top of your right leg, bring it back. Maybe closer to the edge of the mat, back to where it was. Lift the knees. Maybe sway a few times side to side. And then your knees can tip over towards the right. Feet wide, knees wide. Maybe the right foot, though, will rest on top of the left leg. You have your legs crossed, bring that right foot back down and slowly lift the knees. And maybe sway the knees side to side a few more times. And start to heel toe the feet back together as close as you'd like them to be. You might give your knees a hug towards the chest, maybe taking the hands out from under the head. Just feeling your back against the ground again. If you have your feet lifted, and bring them to the ground again. You're going to send your left leg out long. Now your right leg's going to stay bent. Your foot can stay on the inside of the left leg. The knee can point up. You can let the knee fall out to the side so your foot is resting maybe on the inner thigh. A reclined tree pose. You can stay where you are. Or you can bring that knee to point up again, planting the right foot on the ground. Keeping that knee bent, you might try to cross that foot over top of the left leg. Try to bring that right foot to the ground on the other side of the left leg. If you cross the legs, bringing the right foot back over to the inside of the left leg, and then hugging your right knee to your chest. Give it a nice big hug. Press your low back into the ground. And as you release your right leg, send it all the way out long. Then the left leg, plant the foot on the inside of the right leg. Either staying here or letting the knee tip out to the side. Maybe your foot can lightly touch your inner leg, your tree. You can stay here, or you can lift your knee back up, plant the foot, but maybe cross the leg first. See how close you can get that left foot to the ground, the outside of the right leg. You did cross the legs, bringing that left foot back to the inside of the leg, and then hugging the knee into the chest. Nice big hug of that left knee. And then as you release again, plant both of your feet on the ground. You might sway your knees side to side a few times. You might bring your feet closer together and let your knees, both of them, fall out wide. Rest your arms wherever's comfy. Maybe your hands are on your belly or at your sides, or maybe even behind your head. Just allow your eyes to close if they're still open. Feel your body moving with each breath. Might stay here a little bit longer with the legs in a diamond shape. Or you might start to bring the knees back together and maybe hugging both knees to the chest again. You might be still or sway a few times side to side. And eventually, we'll be sending our legs out. Whatever Shavasana is going to look like for you today. Might be legs out long, feet out wide. Maybe the same with the arms. Find stillness throughout your body, though. Softening through the forehead and the jaw. Notice what happens to your breath. You don't put any effort into it at all. Slowly take a deeper breath in and out. To move a little bit. Maybe take another slow, deep breath in and out. You might be reaching your arms past your head for a big stretch. And bending your knees as you can roll over to one side. And finding your way up and into a comfy seat when you're ready. Maybe bringing your hands together. Awesome practice, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great rest of the day, and until next time, namaste.